Modern temperature control devices, what most people expect today, is a minimum of three things. Well, a minimum of four things. One, it'll handle nickel. Two, it'll handle titanium. Three, it'll handle stainless steel. 316, 316L, 317, maybe 317L. And definitely Kanthal, the standard. Some mods will also turn around and will also give you nichrome in there as well. But at least those four: nickel, titanium, stainless steel, and Kanthal A1. What we're going to take a look at today here is this. This is the Arctic Dolphin ADT-210. This doesn't come up to the standards that most people expect. Nope, not in the slightest. But let's take a look and see what we're looking at. Thank you for joining me today. Okay, here we are down on the build deck today. We're taking a look at the ADT-210TC. It is a 210 watt temperature control device by Arctic Dolphin. It handles four different types of metals. It handles nickel, titanium, platinum, and Kanthal. Notice, no stainless steel, but we'll get more into that in a few minutes. Here on the front of the box, you're going to be taking a look at a line drawing similar to what you might find as an output of a CAD program. It's actually a very nice little line drawing. It's very simplistic. On the side here, you have the model number. On this side, you have nothing. On this side, you have the model number. And on this side, the only thing you have is a little color dot. Now, this little color dot indicates the color of the mod inside. This mod comes in silver, black, and a bronzy brown color. So you have a couple of different choices. Now, on the back here, you have the model number and all of the specifications and everything. I'll hold this for you to take a look at. If you want to see what's on the back, just pause it. But it's basically the same thing that you saw just a few minutes ago on the splash screen I put up. You have the serial number here plus the website to go to check to make sure that you have a original device. You also have a holographic sticker on here to ensure authenticity. So let's take this open and see what we have in here now. And here we have the device. Let me just move this around so you can get a better idea what it looks like in the box. We'll take it out of the box and put that to one side. Now this is a bit of a fingerprint magnet, and as you can see on here already, I got a whole crap load of fingerprints on here, and there's nothing I can do because every time you touch this thing, it picks up fingerprints like you wouldn't want to believe. So what we're going to do now is I'm just going to pull this out and take a look here in the bottom. Now it comes with a USB A to USB micro charging and upgrade cable. Yes, this device can charge your 18650s in the device. It is not recommended, but it can do it in a pinch if need be. As I said, it's also firmware upgradable. However, the one thing is that Arctic Dolphin has not put out one upgrade on this device. Now, as I said, this handles nickel 200, Ni 200, titanium 1. It handles platinum, and it handles Kanthal in the standard variable wattage mode. Now, I would love to see Arctic Dolphin put out a firmware upgrade for this thing where, for example, they might take out the platinum, for example. I know there's some people out there who use platinum, mostly in the form of G-Plat wire. However, the vast majority of people out there nowadays are using stainless steel. If you are using platinum, what I suggest them to do is put in a TCR mode in there in place of the platinum setting. Now, if they take out the platinum setting and put in a TCR mode, you'll be able to do other things such as gold, silver, platinum, etc., ad nauseum, whatever you decide that you want to do. So basically, you wouldn't be losing the setting. You'd lose the convenience of having a dedicated setting that is there that you don't even have to think about. But with the TCR mode, that would also allow other people out there to be able to plug in variable TCR mode, so we could do things like stainless steel, etc., ad nauseum. Okay, so yeah, that's that one thing. That's one of the major things I have with this thing. Now, this is the instruction manual that comes with it. I'm just going to hold this here. You can zoom in on this if you want. I'm not going to try to zoom in on this thing because it's just going to mess everything else up. But I'll just leaf through here so you can get an idea. Yes, I do highlighting things that are important to me. And here you can see a brief look at the menu, which we'll get into a little bit more as we go along. And okay, this manual comes in English. The first half of it is in English. The second half of it is in, I believe, simplified Chinese. Okay, so we'll put that in there, put that in there, put this in here. Okay, so what we're going to take a look at here now is the device itself. Let's just try and get some of the fingerprints off of this thing. Try and make it look a little bit prettier. All right, there we go. That's a little bit better. This thing has a sort of matte slash shiny finish to it. The actual coloring is matte itself, but the finish is slightly shiny, as you can see here from the pictures. This is the one side. This is the top. You have a 510 spring-loaded connector on here, and yes, I will show you that it is spring-loaded. It is a pretty nice spring-loaded connector. Stainless steel catch cup type of operation going here. And no, just because this has a hole here in the center of this 510, this is not, I repeat, not a squonker. Okay? On this side, you have the Arctic Dolphin name. Nothing here. Control surfaces, fire button, plus, minus, USB port, back up here. And on this side here, you have your battery access door. Now, you access the battery by taking and putting your fingernail underneath here, and this is one of these two little slots, and just lifting it up. Now, as you can see, it has two little magnets on here, one here, one here, one here, one here, four little magnets, sorry. Inside you have your battery bay. You have room for two 18650s in series configuration. Negative goes here, positive goes here, positive goes here, negative goes here. You also have a nice little ribbon in here. This ribbon is actually a necessity, because if you'll hold on a second, if we pop in two batteries in here, these are a pair of VTC4s that have been rewrapped, and pop them in here like so. If you do not put this ribbon in here, it is almost next near impossible to get this out because of the tightness of this bay. So put this in here like so. As you can see, it ain't coming out. And if you try to grab it here because of the tightness of the bay, you're going to munge up your wraps no end. So you really do need to have this ribbon in here. So put that in there like so. And we'll put the magnets back in here. Now, there is a little bit, you can hear that? There is a little bit of door rattle on here, but it's not much. There's no rattle from the buttons or anything like that. These buttons are very nice. They're very clicky. The fire button protrudes from the body of the mod slightly. Likewise, the up and down buttons. They're easy enough to find just by rubbing your finger over them. The display is a very nice, bright, sorry about that, is a very nice, bright display. Very easy to see in both bright sunlight as well as subdued indoor lighting. This is a very nice little mod. It was very well put together, very nicely done. Like I said, my major concern about it is the fact that it doesn't do stainless steel, which limits the amount of use that I personally can get for this unit. I really like the unit, but major turn off. Simple fact that it doesn't do the stainless steel. All right, well, enough of a rant here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this on. You turn it on by pressing the fire button and holding it in. And you get the Arctic Dolphin logo, ADT-210 start. And it brings you up automatically in temperature control mode. You have your temperature here, the temperature it's actually firing at, and the ohm load of your atomizer. Now, this, as you can see, it will go here. Oh, wrong way, Joe. It will go up to 650 Fahrenheit. It will go down to 200. So 200 Fahrenheit to 650. Now, it does not round robin. And as you can see, it takes quite a bit of a time for the unit to count down. As you can see here from when I press the button, it goes up and down in 1 watt increments. Okay. Now to get it out of temperature control mode and get it into wattage mode, 5 clicks on the fire button. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now you're in wattage mode. And in wattage mode, you have the wattage displayed here. You have the voltage applied to your atomizer, plus, of course, the load resistance of your atomizer itself. And in here, it will go from, I believe it's 5 watts. Yep, 5 watts all the way up to the, quote, 210 watts. And as you can see, it goes up in 1 watt increments, and there is no acceleration on this. It goes up very slowly. And come on, little girl, you can do it. Come on. 210. And there's no round robining on this either. Okay, to get into menu mode, press the plus and minus button together, and you come into menu mode. The first one we're going to see here is this little sunburst. You press the fire button, and that brings you into your screen display brightness. You can bring this all the way down to 2.5%, or bring it all the way up here to 100%, and as you can see, it is quite bright, and this is very bright. You can see this very easily outdoor in a very bright sunlit day. I usually keep it for the most part right around 50%. To put in that value, press the fire button. The next one is lock and unlock. This being lock, this being unlock. That locks your keypad, so nothing gets changed on you. Once again, as in any place in this menu, to lock that setting in, press the fire button once. And here we have the menu flip, where if you accept it, as you can see, it flips the screen on you. All right. Next one is your serial number. This gives you the serial number that's burned into the firmware on this thing, which will match up with the serial number that is on the sticker here in the bottom of the box. So you can double check to make sure that you're getting the what you actually paid for. So next one, you have, now this is your puff counter. Okay. You can bring it to 9,999 by leaving it in dashes. That means that you are basically telling it that it's unlimited, or you can set it to 1, or whatever number you want between 1 and 9,999. And if I remember correctly, if you press both, yes, if you press both the plus and the minus button together, it clears the puff counter. Okay, so hit that. Next one is the time. Now you can adjust this from a minimum of a 3-second blast all the way up to a 20-second blast. I usually keep it around 10 seconds. I never vape for more than 10 seconds at a time, so I leave it there. That gives me plenty of time. Okay. Next one, Fahrenheit and Celsius. Now, you remember when I was looking at the temperature settings just before? There is no way that you can change from Fahrenheit to Celsius on that screen. You have to work in either Fahrenheit or Celsius mode. Now, here's where you would change your settings. Right now I have it in Fahrenheit mode. If I bring it over here to Celsius mode and click that in, if I press and hold the fire button, that takes me home. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. As you can see, it is now in Celsius mode, which starts at 95 degrees Celsius and goes all the way up to, come on, you can do it, 345 degrees Celsius. And there's no round robining in this Celsius mode either. So let's go back into the menu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's right. Duh. I keep forgetting. Got to press and hold that. So, quick little trip here. I'm going to go into Fahrenheit, Celsius, change it back to Fahrenheit, and then we'll come back over here. Now, this little symbol, this is where you choose what metal you want to use in temperature control mode. Nickel 200, titanium 1, or platinum. And as you can see, there ain't nothing else. Like I said before, I would like to see this platinum taken out and have a TCR mode put in here, so that way anybody can make use of this mod. Okay? That's the one major thing that really burns my coppers about this mod. I love this little mod, except for this, platinum. If they had put a TCR value placing in here, a TCR mode in here, it would have been, this mod would have been perfect. As you can see, if you leave it for more than a couple seconds, it pops out. So we'll pop it back into here, and we'll go back to here. All right, so we're going to leave this in nickel mode. Next one is, now this a little bit of a plus symbol here on the file folder. That indicates that this is where you would store your individual coils. This is kind of like a fast settings place where you can turn around and store, I believe it's the last 10, nope, last 6, excuse me, last 6 coils. Now let's see, if I press fire button and negative together, nothing. Doesn't do anything. Fire button positive, nope. Save state, no. Alright, so yeah. 6. Yep, 6 positions. And this gives you the last one that you had. So I'm going to save state, no. Alright, so the next one here is retrieve. This is the output version of this one, which is the input version. Okay, so you have here the current, this asterisk indicates that this is the current or last atomizer that was put on here. It goes from 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then the current one. So we're going to leave that. Next mode, the next menu item, I should say, is your power boost. Now this will allow you to use standard, just the plain old standard ordinary fire up when you press the fire button, or this will allow you to boost it. Now I'm not sure, I don't have the instrumentation necessary to be able to tell you exactly how much this goes up by. I think it's somewhere in the range of about 20%, but I'm not sure. It could be as much as it blasts the entire, quote, 210 watts that this thing has in there. I'm not sure. There's nothing in documentation that turns around and tells you exactly what power boost is. I believe it's 20% though. So let's get back in here, and we're going to go back here. And yeah, that's where we were. That's the power boost. To do that, to turn that on, you hit the negative, and that would get that in. That would give you your power boost. Now, the one thing about this power boost is it's pulse width modulation. Okay, it will turn around and it will give you a rattlesnake, which you can actually hear. Okay, I do not use it at all. And of course, next one here is power on and off. If I click this, it shuts it down, and that completely shuts everything down in the unit itself too, so you don't wasting any battery power. And once again, long hold on the fire button turns it on. Okay, and here we are. Okay, now a little while ago, I believe I was mentioning that, then again, it could have been on one of the previous recordings I've done on this thing today, in which I had to trash for one reason or another. I got this thing in a raffle that I won up at the Good Karma Vapor up in, I believe it was in like March, February or March, something like that. Up in Saddlebrook here in New Jersey. It was a meet and greet with Phil Brisardo and Demetrius Agrafiotis, the Vaping Greek. They were up there. There was it was the Saturday right after the, was it Saturday or Sunday? I forget. Right at the day after the Brooklyn Business to Business Expo. And they were up there. He was paying a visit to his folks, and Demi was up there with him and everything else, and they were hanging out there at Good Karma. You can see I did a video on it. You can check it out here on the channel. And this is along with a TFV4 is what I won. And I said that I was going to do a review on this. Now, the reason why I haven't done a review on it is because it doesn't do stainless steel. And because stainless steel is the only temperature control wire that I do, I had a very big issue. How do I do temperature control on this thing? How do I show you temperature control on this? I argue with myself, well, if I don't have the nickel wire, I can just do it as a straight wattage review. And I said, no, that does disservice to those people out there who might be interested in this thing as a temperature control device and does use nickel, titanium, or even platinum. Excuse me. So, I went out and I ordered nickel and titanium wire. And it came in just yesterday. I ordered a small little 25-foot spool of it. And I put it into my Aromomizer VRDA. As you can see, one nickel coil in here. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I am not going to wick this thing up and then vape on it after I do the temperature control test. It's a very simple reason. The day I got this in and the day I installed that, which was yesterday, excuse me, well, not actually yesterday, it was Thursday night. Thursday night I got this in. This is Saturday, Labor Day, Memorial Day weekend. I put this coil in here and started vaping it. Within minutes, not only was I getting a headache, but the back of my throat felt like somebody had turned around and taken a blowtorch to it. I could barely speak. As you can hear, excuse me, I'm still barely able to talk here. My throat still feels like there's a little guy in the back there with a rasp and some steel wool going around inside my throat. Okay? I am not vaping on nickel ever again. This was the first and last time I will ever vape on nickel. Period. End of quotation. Not happening. No way, no how. I will, however, wick this up. I put this into temperature control mode, and we will do a temperature control test on this to see if it actually burns the cotton, to see whether or not it will turn around and register the fact that there is an atomizer on here and do the appropriate limiting of the temperature. I will not be vaping it like some other reviewers do to the point where I could get a dry hit with it. No, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Like I said, I can barely talk right now, so that's it. This is what you're getting. All right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to wick this little puppy up. And as you can see, there is still some, excuse me, a remainder of e-juice in here. Let me just get out a Q-tip and try and dry this out a little bit here. And just so we don't get too much smoking here, dry out this coil. Try and get off any remaining e-juice on here. There we go. All right, so let's wick this puppy up and see what we see. Now, as you can see, there is discoloring on here. This is from where I was not only doing this temperature control test, but also actually vaping on it to see how the nickel and I reacted together. And, well, like I said, we don't seem to have a rather good relationship, and I don't think this relationship is going to go anywhere on any kind of a basis whatsoever. Yeah, not happening. There is a major split up between us in the offing here. So I'm just going to fluff these ends up the same as if I was going to be vaping it. And I'm going to put it in here. Now, this is a totally dry coil. And I'm going to bring this up. New coil up. Yes. Old coil down. This is a new coil. As you can see here, it is registering as 0.14 ohms. It's at 650 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to bring this down to 420. Do-do-do. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 420 degrees. Okay. I'll take this into wattage mode. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wattage mode, we're going to take this down from 210 watts. I'm going to bring this down to 30 watts, should be good. I want to fry the cotton because we got too much wattage going in there. Bring this down to 30 watts, 32 watts, somewhere in that range. And, oh, went past. Yes, you can see it does adjust in 1/10 of a watt if you just give it quick jabs, but if you press and hold it, it will do it in 1 watt increments. Now, as you can see here in wattage mode, it's showing as a 0.2 ohm coil in there, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In temperature mode, it's showing it as a 0.14 ohm coil. So now that we've got the wattage set and we have the temperature set. Actually, what I want to do is I want to go in here, so that way you know that we're not playing games. Nope, that's not the one. Nope, there we go. Time, there we go. I'm going to bring this down to 3 seconds, okay? And we're going to leave that in there, and then I'm going to press that, long press, bring it to home. Okay, so now that is set for 3 seconds. I'm going to give this a 3-second blast. That's why I put that in there. I'm going to hold this where you can see exactly the fact that this thing here will time out. It'll keep firing it for 3 seconds, time out, then I'm going to release, and then we'll hit it 2 more times after that. So here we go. Let's take a look and see what we get here. Let me just make sure I got this on screen here. Yeah, there we go. All right. All right, here we go. Let's take a look and see what we get here. Firing now. Time. That's 3 seconds. Second. Firing. Third. Firing. Timed. You saw that smoke coming up off there. I'm not sure if that was from whether or not this was the e-juice left in the coil or if this was the cotton. We're going to find out in a second here. Let's just bring this out. Ah, it was the e-juice. As you can see, we have here a slight banding on here, but there's no scorching of any kind. There's just a little slight discoloration here on the cotton. So pretty much this is a pass for this device. So that's it right there. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the only test you're going to get for temperature control on this device from me using this nickel coil. And from now on, whenever I do a temperature control device, temperature control test on a device like this, and if I do nickel in here, I'm not, I repeat, not going to be vaping it. From now on, whenever I do a temperature control test, I will be doing it in stainless steel. And if, as in this device here, it only allows me to do it in either nickel, titanium, or some other metal other than stainless steel, I will do the test in nickel, but I will not be vaping it. Otherwise, I will be doing this temperature control test in stainless steel. Okay, that's pretty much it. Let's head on back up to FaceTime and see what we got. All right, and we'll talk about this some more. Meet you topside. Okay, here we are again topside. Yeah, like I said down on the build deck, I am not going to be vaping nickel. There was always something about it that I just never, for some reason, I just never liked the idea of it. And now I know the reason why. I must have some kind of a sensitivity to this thing because, like I said in the build cam photo, yeah, I'm doing good. The build cam footage, my throat still feels like who did it and ran. So that's the reason why I'm sounding like this today. But I will keep this around. I'm not going to vape it. I will be keeping it around, but I will be keeping it around strictly for use with temperature control type of tests like this. I will also be doing, I also have some titanium 1 here, if I can get it the right size. Well, I got some titanium 1 here that I will be, surgical grade titanium 1, which I will use. Also, likewise, I have not tried the titanium yet. To see if that affects me. But the way I figure it is that the nickel works temperature control, it's going to do it. I'll try the titanium and see if there's any, my body has any kind of effects with the titanium, like the nickel, like it had with the nickel. I don't know if it will or if it won't. We'll find out. This is going to be an experimental basis, and well, like I said, we'll see. But yes, as you can see, fired this. There we go. 420. 0.14 ohms. Yeah, there's the camera eye. Yes, we're being reflected in off of it. And I'll even do it again. As you can see, there is some slight banding on there. Maybe you'll be able to see it, maybe you won't. There you go. See that slightly tan discoloration on that? That's the banding that I got from it. But just so that way you know that I'm not kidding you here, we'll put this back in here, like so, and I'll fire it again. This way you can see. Where is it? There we go. All right, fire it again. 1, 2, 3. Time out. Time out. Third time. Time out. And pull this through and pull it out completely. So let's see if you can see this. If I can't see through my hand, so, but there you go. That's the cotton. So I'll be able to see if you were able to see that when I do the video editing on that thing. But yeah, that's nickel. To tell you the truth, I really, truly love this little mod. But unfortunately, I am not going to be able to use it in the temperature control. Unless, of course, maybe I can do it in titanium. I'll find out. I'll use this mod, put a titanium build in there, and see if it works. And if so, I'll be able to turn around. I'll be able to make use of the temperature control with the titanium. Titanium and nickel, I'm really not sold on. If I've got my druthers, I'd rather use stainless steel. If anybody from Arctic Dolphin is listening to this, please, guys, please put out a firmware upgrade if it's possible. Now, I don't know how the firmware on this thing has been made. I don't even know if the hardware in there, the actual chips in there, have the registers that be able to actually do this. But if it does, okay, if there's enough room on the firmware in there to do this, can you put in a TCR mode? Okay, if the chip can do it, put in a TCR mode. This way everybody can make use of whatever metals they're going to be they use in their coils. If it can't, and it only can hold one value, it won't allow for the one TCR value and then be able to turn around and use the plus and minus buttons to bring it up and down. If the software can't do it, at least put in 316 or 316L stainless steel in there, so that way the vast majority of people, the vast majority of people out there can make use of this mod. Okay, you can offer it out there as a different one. Put this software up there, okay, where it says nickel, titanium, platinum for download, and then have another download up there available where it's nickel, titanium, and stainless. Okay, yeah. You can, if that's the case, then put up another, even a third one, nickel, titanium, and nichrome. So that way people who use nichrome can do it. Okay? Yeah, I don't see why you can't do this. It's a value. It's a single value. You could put up as many updates up there as you want with the different metals, nickel, titanium, and X. One here, platinum, nichrome, stainless steel, gold, silver, tungsten, whatever. Whatever metal you want to put up there. You could just leave the nickel and titanium in there and then just put in another TCR value. I don't see why you didn't do it. This thing's been out now for what? Well over a year? I'm surprised you haven't. Seriously, it really, while your hardware design, your hardware execution is excellent, the paint job is a okay paint job. It's not great. It's not bad. It does take a chip if it drops on something, and as you saw on the close-up camera, it's got a couple of chips in there. It's got some scratches in it. But hey, the paint job isn't that bad. It's been holding up, and I did use this thing for almost a month straight while I was trying to make up my mind as to what I wanted to do with it. So yeah, it will turn around. It will take some abuse. Why can't you turn around and put up different upgrades? It would take your software engineers all of maybe 2 minutes to go in there, change the display from PT to SS, okay, and then to turn around and take out the platinum value and substitute a value for 316. Okay? Compile it into binary. Put it out there. Okay, 316. Boom. There you go. 316L. Boom. There you go. 317. Boom. There you go. 317L. Boom. There you go. Nichrome. Boom. There you go. Put them all up there. Let people choose which metals they want to make use of. Which ones they want to download and which ones they want to put in there. How hard could that be? Really, seriously, how hard can this be? For what you're charging for this mod, and I'm going to put up a couple of splash screens right here now as I'm talking that shows you a couple of the different websites that still have this mod available out there. So if you're interested, you can go to these websites and order them. One of them, however, it does say out of stock. I put it up there as basically is the low end price. I'm also going to put up one here for the UK. All right, so if you guys are over in the UK, you can still order it over there. Even with TPD and everything else, it's a mod. It's not a tank. Mods are not covered by the TPD or the TRPR. Okay? So, yeah, you can turn around and you'll still be able to order them. Now, other than those, I have no issue with this mod. I like the menu system. It's a one level, it's basically a 2-level menu system. I'm sorry, not 1 level, 2 level. You have the regular operating mode, then you have the menu mode, and then you have the individual settings that you go into. Okay, it's really simple, and once you get used to the icons, it's there. The big thing that prevents me from giving this a recommendation, okay, besides one other thing I'm going to talk about in a minute, is the fact that it doesn't have stainless steel. Okay? There's one other con that I have with this. Now, you remember that I had up at the very beginning the specifications, the tech specs for this. I'm going to put them up here again. Okay? If you look at those tech specs, okay, the numbers don't add up. All right? The numbers don't add up for the wattage. Now, they say that this is a 210 watt maximum device. All right? Now, I'm going to put up some splash screens here. All right? And you're going to see what I'm talking about. All right? All right. Now, I'm going to put up here basic Ohm's law math. Okay? Now, this is a very simple screen that I'm putting up here. Now, you see up here at the top here, it says P equals I squared R. equals. Now you see underneath here, you see it says 0.06, and that's the ohms reading. That's the temperature control range minimum and maximum. Now that 0.06, that's the minimum resistance of a coil that you can put in here. Now the I squared is the wattage resistance here, the max amperage of 45 amps. Now that's the maximum amperage that can go through this, that this mod will allow to pass through, which is 45 watts times 45 watts. Okay, that's squared, which comes out to 2025. That's the number. Now, when you times 0.06 by 2025, you get 121.5 watts. Yeah, that's not 210. That's 121.5. All right? Now, I'm going to bring up another screen here. This one here shows you the variable wattage. Now, you'll notice that it's the same exact formula here, P equals I squared R, I being current, R being the resistance value. Now, in this case, we're talking variable wattage. Okay, now wattage resistance range is 0.1 to 2.0 ohms. 2.1 ohms. So the minimum resistance is 0.1 ohms. That's the number that we're going to be basing this on. Now the I squared R is the maximum amperage, which is 45 amps. 45 squared is 45 times 45, or once again 2025, 2025, and that would be the number that we're going to be using. So 0.1 times 2025 equals 202.5 watts. 202.5 watts. This is supposed to be a 210 watt mod. Yeah. So far, I've not seen any numbers that are within a couple of watts here and there of 210 watts. Let's take a look at another one. All right. Let's take a look at basic Ohm's law math. Okay. Now, basic Ohm's law math is P equals V times I. Now, V is the voltage. All right. Now, the maximum voltage that this thing will give you, according to their tech specs, is 7 volts. So that's the number I'm going to use, 7.0 volts. Now, the I, once again, is the maximum amperage rating that this chipset will allow to go through it, which is 45 amps. 7 volts times 45 amps equals 315 watts. Now, that's the maximum theoretical that this thing should be able to give. All right. Now, the I rating is voltage times voltage voltage divided by resistance. Okay, that's how you get I, which is the current. So would be its minimum resistance. Okay, that's how you would get that I figure. But still, that's 315 watts. This is rated at 210. Okay? Nowhere, except for that last one that I had here, is getting me anywhere near 210 watts. Okay, the second one is splash screen I showed you was the only one that got me close to without going over, and that was 202.5 watts. Okay, so yeah, I don't see how just using the math, we can get anywhere near 210 watts on this device. That makes me very, very skeptical of the math on this thing. Now, I don't have the sophisticated test equipment here like Phil Basardo has, or Danny from DJLSB Vapes. I don't have that. I don't have an oscilloscope here. I don't have the a lazy box to turn around and hit it with calibrated resistance levels, so I can turn around and check out what the actual numbers and stuff like that are. I don't have it. I wish I did, but I don't. So I can only go according to what I have, and that's the math. Now, I would gather that Arctic Dolphin is putting this out, and they're being conservative, shall we say, in what they say. Because the basic math, the basic Ohm's law math of voltage times current, it's not showing it. That's showing it at 315 something watts. I don't see that. Not on two 18650s in series. That ain't going to happen. 210 watts on a pair of 18650s, even VTC5s, VTC4s, which I have here, they're not going to do it. Even my UR 18650 NSX Sanyos wouldn't be able to get that without those things really starting to overheat. And besides, max current drain at 45 watts. I don't know too many 18650 batteries out there that would be able to turn around and pump out that kind of wattage. Yeah. The numbers just don't add up. So going on that alone, I'm skeptical about this mod's claims. Another reason why I cannot possibly give this thing a thumbs up rating, or a star, or whatever you want to call it, a recommendation. Just can't do it. It's a good little mod. It works. It's comfortable in the hand. The weight on this thing is not overly heavy. It's not overly light. As a matter of fact, I'm going to put up a screenshot here of me weighing this right now, which I didn't do down on the build cam, and I'm sorry for that. I can't remember everything. I'm only human, okay? I'll do it with and without the 18650s in here. But yeah, I don't see it. I really don't see it. If you want to, if you're into nickel, if you're into nickel coils and you really like nickel coils, then yeah, this will do temperature control in nickel with no problems. I just showed you that. If you're into titanium, if you're into platinum, hey, I didn't do a test of titanium, and I sure as hell don't have any platinum around this place to turn around and be able to do a temperature control test on it in platinum. But if the nickel's working, there's a very good chance that the platinum and the titanium also work. I can tell you that the wattage, the variable wattage on this thing is very good. As a matter of fact, I can also tell you, if you give me 1 second here, and I take this off. Now, I have 2 coils here that I make use of to test the resistance values on a mod. Okay, they're nickel, not nickel. I had nickel on the brain today. That's probably because my throat's killing me so much. But these are Canthal A1. All right. So I will put this on here. And as you can see, it is asking me new coil up, same coil down. So I'm going to hit this with new coil. And as you can see there, or hopefully you'll be able to, it is showing a resistance level of 0.94 ohms. Now this Canthal A1 loop that you see here has been calibrated by me both on my digital ohm meter and also on my USA Ohms fire meter. Yeah. If I can get it here. Come on, I can't even... There we go. Fire meter dual parallel. This has got two 18650s in here in parallel. I can fire just about anything on that. Okay? But yeah, that and my DVM have rated this at 1 ohm coil. And as you can see, this thing is showing it at a 0.94, which is a lot better than some of the other mods that I've turned around and I've tested this on. And as you can see, it's firing it. You just may be able to see the smoke coming off of it, maybe not. But yeah, 30 watts, 0.94. Now, the other one that I have here is just like this, 8.5 ohm coil, or loop of wire, I should say. If I can get this thing off here, this thing's got a rather, this deck has got a rather long 510 on here, and it takes a while to get it screwed on and screwed off. That didn't come out right, did it? Okay. Okay, so we're going to see here, new coil up, same coil down. So we're going to do this new coil, and as you can see here, or hopefully you'll be able to see, 0.49. 0.49 ohms, and this is rated likewise like the 1 ohm with my DVM and the fire meter both concurring that this is a 0.50 ohms loop of wire. So this is 0.49. It's pretty close. Now, you might ask me, why do I use two loops? One at 0.5, one at 1 ohm. Well, I have found, testing some of these mods that I have here, that the resistance measuring circuitry that's in here measures resistance on Canthal stainless steel differently at different ohms levels on a lot of these mods. So if you have this thing down in the 0.5, 0.43 to 1 ohm range, it can turn around and they can read that very differently than if it was up in the 1 ohm, 0.9, 0.87, 6 ohm range. Now, 0.6 ohm, it's probably going to be roughly about the same as the 0.5 ohms. Give me a second, will you? Oh, that feels so good. Yeah. The 0.6 ohm area, I'll probably read it roughly around the same as the 0.5. But when you get up to 1 ohm, it reads it very, very differently. Okay? Of some of the mods that I have here, I'll put that 1 ohm on there, and it will read it anywhere from 1.15 all the way down to 1.8. Yeah. So, all in all, that's pretty good. It's only 100th on this 0.5 ohm loop. It's only 100th of an ohm off. That's not too bad, especially for mods. On this one, it reads 0.94. Okay, that's 6/100ths of an ohm off. That's doable. So I would say this is a fairly accurate resistance range, measuring circuitry in here. So if you really want to use it If you really want to use it and buy one of these as, we'll say, strictly a variable wattage device, yeah, it's fine. The resistance ranges in here for this thing, to be able to use it in temperature control is fine. Okay. Yeah. So I have no, as a variable wattage device, I have no qualms about giving this thing a recommendation. As a temperature control device, from the little I was able to use it, it basically seemed like it was working fine. And I used this coil here. That's how I got this throat feeling the way it is. I'm vaping on my goose juice here, my raspberry goose juice, just to turn around and it's the only juice that I've got around here right now that I can vape without my throat feeling like like somebody tried to cut it with a dull spoon. Okay. Yeah, it was working fine. It gave me plenty of vapor. The cloudage was great with it. And I'm sure most of you know what the reputation for the Aromomizer VRDA is when it comes to both flavor and cloud production. So yeah, it worked fine. The only reason why I'm not going to give this thing is the fact that it doesn't have stainless steel and its mathematics is dubious. Okay? Other than that, if you want to buy this thing and you got the bucks and you can afford it, by all means, this mod is going to give you a lot of service. It's a sturdy little mod. It'll take a beating and it'll keep on coming back to you. That's pretty much it. So, having said all of that, I'm going to chop out of here now. Thank you very much for being here. I hope I have not bored anyone to tears. On my last video on the Aromomizer, got a comment in there basically saying that I was boring. Well, hopefully this one I'm not quite so boring. Okay? I'm sorry, I was originally trained in print journalism in high school. So, yeah, that was back in the days when TV was like today, talking heads. So, ladies and gentlemen, take care. God bless. May the road rise to meet you. May the wind be ever at your back. May the Lord hold you in the hollow of his hand, and may you be in heaven a half an hour before the devil knows you're dead. Take care. Bye for now.